go over to the Pop Tarts Bowl, which was a very entertaining game last year. Miami's going to be playing against Iowa State. The caveat here, likely first round quarterback Cam Ward is playing in this football game. As far as we know, right? As far as we know. It could have changed in the last, I don't know, half hour since we started recording this. Yeah, he's fantastic. I also don't think Iowa State's defense is very good, right? You look at, particularly in the run, right? In that front seven, I know that they've had walk on linebackers have to play at times. I know that they have some talent there, but it's kind of fallen apart in some games, right? In Miami, they don't run the ball necessarily a lot, but they've been effective when they do it. Like when they choose to run the football, they can. Like they have two really good running backs. They have an offensive line that's very solid, and they have the threat of the best passing attack in the entire country, essentially, right? I I would say that I like Miami here, right? However, Iowa State, you've got a lot of seniors playing in this bowl game. Okay, you have an offense that has very much impressed me, and a quarterback and weapons that I think can definitely take advantage of this Miami defense, which I was so hopeful for this year, and it just did not come to fruition at all. So Iowa State's catching 4.5 here, right? I like it. I'll take Iowa State 4.5, and I would say take Miami to win, but I, I'll take Iowa State to win. I guess Miami on a bit of a schneid, right? I know Cam Ward's going to want to prove something, but Iowa State secondary is not bad, guys. It's not bad. Uh, it'd be more concerning, right, if Miami got up early, right, and then they started running the football. Then that's when you have to hit the panic button, kind of. But I think Iowa State's going to be able to match, point for point against Miami because I don't think this Miami defense has been very good, and they've gotten out schemed, right? Like in games where they've played good offense coordinators, they've gotten out schemed, right? You're looking over at Syracuse. I'm looking over at Louisville, right? Iowa State with that offensive staff, despite maybe me criticizing the hire preseason, just promoting your tight ends coach, has done a really good job this season. And I think with like several weeks to prepare, I think that they can get it done here on offense. So I like Iowa State in the spot.
Yeah, listen,
And the ACC's performance in bowl games this season, does that
that's
concern you at all?
yeah, it does, potentially, but I do think there is a tier above what Miami is versus what I think some other teams in the ACC is, even though they did lose to, right, Syracuse, and they did lose to Georgia Tech. But I don't know here. I'm interested to see. What really intrigues me about getting on Miami, because I'll tell you, I'm on Miami right now, 4.5. I'll take it. Is like I think it's pretty telling to me that Cam Ward is playing in the spot here, right? And like how much it means to him to play in this game. And I don't think it's a spot where you're going to see letdown. That gives me a lot of confidence to see the mindset of the rest of the team. Because if you see a potential, top 10 pick guy, putting it all on the line in the Pop Tart Bowl, I think it's pretty inspiring. I hope so, right? I do think it's interesting because who is he going to be throwing to, right? You got no Isaiah Horton who's in the portal, right? I think Restrepo's playing. I'd assume if Cam Ward's playing, Restrepo's going to be playing, and George is going to play. You got the tight end Arroyo, hoping those guys can get after it. And then look at those big physical running backs for Miami. Offensively, Martinez, Fletcher, those big physical offensive linemen for Miami, be able to lean on that front seven of Iowa State. But to me, what I really want to see from Miami here, and I think maybe I'm picking them because like I just want to see this, and maybe I won't see it, and if I don't see it, it could be pretty bad, is this Miami defense is way too talented to be performing the way they did in the season, right? Way too talented. And I want to see the defense line get after Beck. I want to see them stop, Hanson, Abu Sam, Jalen Jackson, guys like that from that Iowa State running game. Right? I want to see negative plays. Let's see 3-and-outs, turnovers. I don't know. I want to see a pissed off Miami football team come in and play really good football because they had a chance to go to the playoffs. They should be playing in the playoff. And obviously, would they win it all? Probably not. But I think it should be really frustrating as a team. I also think personally, too, Mario Cristobal has played Ohio State before in a big time bowl game, right? Back in 2020, right? You had the Brees Hall, you had the Brock Purdy, the Charlie Kohler, Xavier Hutchinson. You Iowa State Cyclone fans remember that, right? And you kicked the snot out of Oregon and Cristobal, right? Back in that game, 34-17. Now that Oregon team, it was kind of just Travis Dye on offense, and that was about it. Tyler Shuck was on that team, which is crazy that he's still playing football. But I don't know. I want to see Miami come in and just really kick their teeth in. Now, I do think Iowa State can absolutely win this football game, right? I do expect Higgins and Noel to be able to produce because they have done it against everybody all year long. But I do wonder how that defense is going to play, especially without like all Big Ten kid, right? Tyler Onyedem, right? And you got Snyder in the portal, you got Jones, a couple reserve guys. It would be really nice to see Caleb Bacon come back. I know he's been out for a long time for you at the linebacker position. That could absolutely help you, but man, oh man, I I just think I want to see Miami play pissed off and live up to that potential on all three sides of the ball. Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy, but I also look back at their resumes too. Like each of these, if I was to compare, right, two, I guess, uh, I guess 10-2 teams before Iowa State played in the playoffs, right? I'm looking at the resumes and I'm like, they're not that different, really. They're not that different. Miami's best win, Louisville, in a game that you could have lost, right? Iowa State's best win, either Kansas State or Baylor, I guess, but Baylor before that was Baylor, the Baylor team before they went on this absolute tear, right? Because Baylor hasn't lost a game since they lost to Iowa State. So I just think that they're pretty similar teams in that they don't play great defense, but I think Iowa State has a better pass defense than Miami does. I just think that these seniors for Iowa State are pretty good. I think they're going to show out for us. I really do. So if you're going to give me points there, I'll take them. But I might as well just take them to win, I guess, here. I'm not betting on them to win, but maybe I'll have something for Iowa State a little bit later. So
Well, that's
we'll
that's a
see.
good point here. I honestly like with Miami, they've been impressive. Maybe three times all season, right? To
Mm-hmm.
Florida, right? Louisville, I'd say is okay. I mean, it was really impressive going back and forth with Shuck and Louisville on the road there. First of all, hell of a game, but it was just really fun to see. And then the first 18 minutes against Syracuse, right? Other than that, they have not played like complete football, really. And they didn't really play complimentary football against Louisville.
To the last eight
So,
minutes of the Cal game.
yeah, I guess so too. But again, it's like, should you even be in that spot? Cal, we saw what just happened to them in the bowl game, even though it's a
Could have
shell of a team.
lost to Virginia Tech. I mean,
Virginia Tech, yeah, Duke, you were down. It it was just it
yeah,
was a lot, right? And um, I don't know. I mean,
I
this
think
is
there's a
interesting.
I think there is obviously a quarterback mismatch. Miami has the better quarterback, but I do think that the coaching edge, I think, significantly goes in Iowa State's favor.
Yeah, I have been thoroughly unimpressed with Lance Giltree, the defense coordinator from Miami. And maybe I'm just misevaluating the talent on that team defensively, but I don't think I'm alone in that. I don't.
There's talent there.
There's a lot of talent there and at a lot of
Oh,
positions. So
it's
it'll be
gross.
interesting. I know you had some injuries and what yada yada. I get that, but I don't know. Here, I do want to ask you this here, and I say this every time we talk about Iowa State here. They need to run the football and run the ball well. When Rocco Beck throws a lot of passes, and I like him a lot. He was awesome for you last year when he got thrust into a really tough position after whatever the hell happened with your gambling and the quarterback. But when they don't run the ball and they don't commit to it, like bad things happen for them. Hanson, Sama, Jackson. We saw Sama really come on at the end of the season last year. Right, would love to see him go for a hero game in this bowl game. I do want to ask you this though, like if you get into a shootout here with Miami, so the total right now is at 57 and a half, 58. Do you feel okay? Can Iowa State win that game?
I think they can, but I would lean in a shootout scenario. I would lean Cam Ward for sure, but
You got
doesn't mean they can't cover 4.5.
it. Yeah, I guess so.